Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
1, 2. Check me out right here, yo.
Yo, the sun don't shine forever.
Welcome into the Bob Sullivan Show here on latenightsportsradio.com. If you'd like to call in, the call-in number is 585-633-7487. I am joined here to start the show by assistant baseball coach at McCook Community College in McCook, Nebraska, Pat Morey. Pat, how you doing tonight?
Not too bad, Bob. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. You are actually in rare. You are the first coach that I coached against in baseball to be on the show.
I'm glad I could be your first.
Yeah, so congratulations. I mean, this is rarefied air here.
Hey, that's a resume builder right there, Bob.
Yeah, first time for everything. Well, you guys just got back from Hastings on the 24th. You had and Cloud Community College. You swept Hastings. What is how's the season going so far right now? Are you guys, with the cold weather to start the season, how tough is it to kind of get your feet under you? And are you guys starting to get that kind of groove going right now?
We're starting to get into it. I mean, we're 5-6 right now, which is a little bit disappointing, but I mean, it's not a horrible start. We've really only had one weekend series. Everything else has just kind of been a single game here, a doubleheader there. So it's been all non-conference too. We start our region this next weekend, and so it's a little bit tough to get into a rhythm when sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's 74. But that's the nature of spring baseball and in the Midwest.
Do you notice things like in the early season, like teams from Kansas or Oklahoma that you might play that are, do they have a step up, a quicker step getting going than you guys, or is it about the same between Kansas and Nebraska?
It's pretty close to the same. You can tell, especially the first week or week and a half, of teams that are inside and teams that have been able to get on their field a little bit more. Not necessarily in game, because reaction and just being a baseball player kind of takes over. But in the pregame stuff, in and out, BP, those type of deals, to where all of a sudden a ball takes a bad hop on some rough grass or on a pebble, that the guys inside just haven't seen for a couple months.
How much stuff during winter practices, how much stuff inside gets broken on a yearly basis from bad throws?
For me, I don't think it's that much of a difference, but it's all just kind of how you can kind of simulate a game as close as you can with whatever you have indoor-wise. Mm-hmm. I know you being, a high school guy in Nebraska, we have our gyms or whatever that we try and do small, ground ball stuff and then throw it across the gym. That's the same concept being outside, but you just try and get them to as high of a comfort level as you can.
Looking at the, at the start of the season, is there any games that you so far that you wish you guys could have back?
Yeah, a couple. We beat Seward County to start the year, which was nice. And then we got walked off about 5 days later at Garden City. That game we had a couple of leads and couldn't hold them. Then we went down to Lovat Community College and basically had the lead with 2 outs in the ninth, and we had back-to-back errors to give them that game too. So we got 2 already that really should have been definite wins for us, I guess I would say, but just didn't happen that way.
On the road in college baseball, I know there's like, when you get in on the bus and going back to your going back to McCook or going back to whatever college team goes back to. Um, Usually it's the team splits some Little Caesars or stops at some kind of rundown buffet. What is the staple on the road for a meal for McCook?
Well, I mean, our region, you get to a lot of smaller towns, so we hit the buffet as much as we can, but that's not normally an option for us because there just isn't Golden Corrals or anything affordable, in the towns we're in. So it's a lot of $8, $7 to $9 at a fast food joint.
How tough is it for you to eat sensibly in season?
No chance.
No chance. No chance.
No chance. Because you can do it. I mean, you can always get the salad option or the fresh option or make your own food and bring it. But we're on a bus for probably 4 to 6 hours, to go to a game. Or the night before, and then when you get off, do you really want to go try and find a Panera or something healthy when there's a Casey's gas station or a McDonald's across the street?
You guys are stuck in a spot where there's a lot of, whether you drive north, south, east, or west, there's a whole lot of nothing. But what is the worst direction to drive for a game outside of when you're leaving McCook?
Really, it's some of that's our closer drives when you're heading west for only like an hour and a half. Because really, there just is nothing there. It's the end of western Nebraska and eastern Colorado.
Yeah.
So you try and take a nap, and then hopefully you're at the ballpark.
Yeah, it's. Leaving Omaha, going through Iowa is terrible, but there's going north through Iowa or east through Iowa is pretty bad, and then going west, once you get past Lincoln, there's a lot of boredom. How do you occupy your time on the bus on the way to and then on the way back?
Cell phones are great for that factor. You can kind of stay up to date on Twitter if you have a good data plan. Or, card games work, headphones with an iPad music, or, you find your way to do it, and you find a little niche that you like, and, it really isn't a bad trip anyway if you have what you need.
Heading into March here, you got Trinidad State coming up. You got Northeastern, Otero coming up. Looking at the upcoming schedule, how favorable is that for you guys right now?
Our region is very, very competitive. Basically the last 3 or 4 years, if you went back and looked at it, 2 to 7 have been within about 4 or 5 games by the end of the year. So it's all right there. Trinidad's kind of been the bully on the block for the last couple of years, so that's going to be a big test for us right off the bat. And then us and NJC finished 4th and 5th last year with basically them winning the season series against us. That gave them the shot in the playoffs and us, missing out. So it's an early season test, but it's something that we can handle.
You guys have Hastings on the schedule. I see you have, a couple of other NAIA schools on the schedule. Midland University on the schedule. How do those count as far as record? Are those considered, since it's not JUCO or community college, does that count as like an exhibition game? How does that count on NAIA and JUCO side?
For the NAIA, it's their JV teams, so they don't really necessarily have a record. For any JUCO, they can play a all-star team or a JV team, and it counts as a regular season game. So we do it because, like Hastings, that's our second closest trip. And they'll swing, and we're Woodbat, JUCO. Our region is, so the JV teams will always swing Woodbat with us. Whereas, if we want to go down to, a Jayhawk school, especially if we went down to them, they probably wouldn't want to swing Wood right in the middle of their aluminum bat season.
Yeah. When you're in, with the going kind of on the recruit, what was the biggest adjustment for you moving from coaching high school to now, coaching college baseball?
On the recruiting side?
Recruiting, the life, everything baseball-wise for you.
Well, the from the player aspect, the mental capacity, really jumps up. You don't have to. Well, you do and you don't, but you don't have to kind of repeat the same things over and over again. It's much more of they're going to get it pretty quickly, or they're going to kind of fall behind a little bit. And you always go back and touch stuff that's important to your program, but it's not every year we need to make sure or every day we need to make sure we hit these three things so a kid doesn't forget it type deal.
Mm-hmm.
On the recruiting side, it's fun because you kind of get it's not a sell like a lot of people think it is, but you get a nice way of seeing what matters to a 17 or 18-year-old kid,
Is the do you notice anything, between recruiting a kid from a bigger city, a smaller high school in a bigger city versus a small town type of kid? What's the, difference in a sell or a recruiting pitch to those kids?
Well, Bob, as you know, I was an Omaha kid and went to a small town school. So the biggest concern is that there's going to be nothing to do. Yeah. From the big city kid, just because they're used to having everything at their disposal. And then when you kind of get them out on campus, or when you kind of when I tell them my story, it kind of eases the fear of that a little bit.
Have you become more of a golfer? Because I know McCook has a really nice golf course out there. Have you upped your golf game, or has it stayed about the same, or do you notice yourself golfing more with that?
Badly, because what I had to, or because of the work schedule, my golf game has actually gone down a little bit.
Okay.
Plus, like you said, our course is really, really nice. That means it's a little above my everyday pay grade.
Yeah, that's the one thing, in Omaha, that's the nice thing, and is there's a lot of golf courses, and there's also a lot of ways to find free golf, or something cheap. Just one course, one really nice course. They're not going to give too many free handouts at that.
No, it's a little bit tougher, but it's one of those to where when I play it, I definitely enjoy it a lot more, because it's not the fourth or fifth time you can get out, in a month. It's normally about once or twice.
With McCook, from last year to this year, what's the biggest improvement from your team last year to this year?
We have depth. What's kind of hurting us right now is we have a couple of injuries on the mound. So we feel we're a little thin, but those guys are starting to get healthy, and they'll be ready to go here in the next couple of weeks or two. But last year our bench was real thin, and now we have about 3 or 4 guys, depending on what starting lineup we put out there, that we can go to and not drastically change our defensive style.
Is there, do you guys have a lot of flexibility as far as moving guys around, as far as infielders to outfielders, and when you are recruiting, are you um, not necessarily trying to fill needs? Are you more so looking just for the current way teams are drafting in Major League Baseball? I know it's a big difference, but they're just looking for guys that can do a lot of different things. Is that what you guys look for when you're recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have your positional needs. We're graduating 18 guys, so we have, we need arms like everybody needs arms. But we're looking to fill an outfield spot, at least 2, if not 3 infield spots, depending on if a redshirt freshman wants to come back. So we do have our positional needs. But with that being said, there's a lot of if you're athletic and positionless, that's not a bad thing, for any JUCO or any college to get. If you're the big old BESR slugger, that all he can do is hit, but you don't have a position, that'd be the guy that's a little bit tougher to give a scholarship to.
With in Major League Baseball, it's either pretty much you get criticized if you're too much in the middle of full blown analytics or way old school. What would how do you guys how are you guys putting together a lineup? Do you guys just best night? Do you look look at more in depth numbers, or do you guys just kind of do kind of an eye test?
It's a little bit more old school, just because we don't get all the analytical numbers. We don't have the money to get a stat cast and see how much our pitchers' rotation rates, or what an outfielder's top speed is as they're trying to go to the gap, that type of deal. So it's a little bit more of the eye test. But I mean, we have spreadsheets of numbers out there that can that tell us what a guy can do against multiple different things.
Does it, as a coach watching Major League Baseball, do you see the kind of nuances of things? Does anything in particular bother you with the Major League game today, and baseball in general?
I don't say bother me, but the Major League game is so pigeonholed. Because if you can't hit the 3-run bomb, it's very tough to win at the Major League level. It doesn't matter how good your staff is. People are and should be romantic about the Royals, what they did last year.
Yeah.
But but if you go back and look at it, Gordon can leave the yard at any chance. I mean, Hosmer, Moose, that whole lineup can kind of just go for it. And then you have the speed element. That's why they were really good. Plus, obviously, their back end of their bullpen was phenomenal. So that's the one, I guess, area that you could say kind of rubs me a little bit the wrong way. But that's just what it is. If I had guys with forearms the size of your kitchen table, I'd probably try and go for the 3-run bomb every time out as well.
Well, 20 years ago, we're into the Oscars tonight. One movie that did not win an Oscar and might be considered one of Tom Hanks' lesser movies, even though we both are big fans of it. That Thing You Do came out 20 years ago, 96. And
biggest love in Oscar history.
Yeah, and I was surprised that that I think Liv Tyler was like 19 at the time of that movie. It's hard to believe she's 38 or 39, and it's hard to believe she was 19 for that movie. But what's the one part of that movie that you, what's the staple of that movie for you?
Oh, anything that Lenny does.
Yes.
I mean, the guitarist, for people who don't know the movies. But it's I mean, he's fantastic in really everything he does, but that movie's just great, and he carries it.
Yeah, I did a drinking game Friday after we got done me and my friend were down in downtown Chicago. We played a drinking game of That Thing You Do and drink for 5 seconds during whenever they play the song That Thing You Do, which is like 15 times throughout the movie. Take a shot whenever they play another song that isn't That Thing You Do, which is about 4 or 5 times throughout the movie, and then you throw in a couple of times where you take a shot when Jimmy starts to get pissed off. Jimmy, I feel like the Jimmy and Faye relationship, like it ended right at the end, but I feel like it would have taken a breakup, a get back together, a couple of breakups and getting back together for me to really buy into them breaking up. Do you agree with that?
I would agree with that. If Faye was smart, she would have stayed together just to keep the band together. She could have got like 3 albums or 4 albums out of those guys.
Well, and it was never mentioned who gave them the information that he was engaged. I'm still curious about that. When at the end, when it's on TV, that careful ladies, he's engaged about Jimmy, and he goes ballistic. But I feel Faye. Yeah, she really ruined the band, and Del Paxton was right. Whether it be women or money, something's going to derail a band, and it really derailed the band pretty quickly. And I feel like now we could get That Thing You Do too, where they come back for a reunion tour.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I know, I'd see it, but yeah, I'd be all about it. That Thing You Do too.
Do you think? I mean, I guess with one-hit wonders, it would be tough to really sell a reunion tour, but I think they could get back together. I mean, Jimmy had a good career after his, once he started the Herdsmen. I mean, getting Lenny and the bass player after the bass player got injured in Vietnam, I think it would be a little tough to get those two back focused. But I think with enough money available, that Tom Hanks could have made this work.
Well, they need to have a sequel just so we can figure out what the bass player's name actually is.
Ooh, yeah.
You can't go through a whole movie and just call him the bass player.
Yeah, and then, or do you just bring back Wolfman, that gun for hire?
Hey, he's scary.
Yeah. Another thing that bothers me, I don't think that Tom Hanks gets enough blame for screwing that band up either. Jimmy blames him. Jimmy blames him, but it was like I think Guy was a little like he was too with the business, too on the side of Tom Hanks, and I feel like Tom Hanks or Rick White, whatever his name is, deserved a lot more than he got from that whole band.
Shays was just happy to be there.
Yeah,
remember he was only supposed to be there for one gig.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Well, the guy that hopping the meter. Yeah, the original drummer gets kicked out.
Broke his arm.
Yeah, broke his arm, couldn't drum. Did you think that it was a little weird to me that once they started to get big, Tina didn't reappear and try to get back with Guy?
A little bit, but the dentist was pretty dreamy. I mean,
he was good.
He might have been good.
He was a good looking guy. I do feel like, and that's a guaranteed paycheck every week too.
Oh yeah, and I mean you gotta show perfect teeth.
Yeah.
For the rest of her life.
Well, Pat, before I let you get out of here, do you want to tell everybody where we can find you on Twitter? What to expect in the upcoming schedule from McCook and any other good stuff to share with people?
My personal Twitter handle is J. Patrick Maury. I saw that you tweeted it out just a little bit ago, so if you don't know how to spell my last name, it's right there for you. For McCook, you can follow us at MCC Indian or at .com or at MCC Indian. For us, we start our region play, which is our make or break. I mean, it's like like everybody in college baseball. If you win your conference, you get a chance to play for a national title. And basically, if you don't, you better be one of the top teams in the nation. And we don't have a what am I trying to say? We don't have a wild card system to get in or an at-large bid, so you got to win your region to make it. So that's where we're at. And like I said earlier, we start kind of with we start with 2 playoff teams from the year before. So I mean, for us to make the playoffs, we got to be able to beat these teams, and that's kind of where we're at.
Alrighty. Well, Pat, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Always good catching up with you in person. Hopefully, we'll cross paths at some point in person here again, and hopefully, I can have you back on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be shocked if I don't make a trip or two to Omaha in the spring to see some guys. So when I do, I'll definitely hit you up, and then if you ever want to have me back, let me know. We'll try and make something work.
Awesome, man. And I'll have to stop by through McCook on my way back from Colorado.
We'll show you. We'll show you what McCook is doing.
Fair enough. And I'll cover the golf when I come.
Oh, all right, there it is. Now we're talking.
Okay. Well, we'll be right back here with Corey Borsch, pitcher, college baseball pitcher here on the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com.
Second to keep breathing in the moment before it's gone. You never know when others lost until you find just what it costs to be wrong. I wonder if you think of me passing by, you think you see me coming. I wonder if you pull me in, kiss me just one time again. Coming and the nights will keep on going till they're tired, falling fast asleep and as they dream of ghosts of beats filled with desire. The chance of life is all around, a chance to take is always found. Writing on the lullabies on the lonely living life. Do you
to figure it through. I wanna make it better, but now I'm scared of looking a fool. Oh, baby, no, I've never been very good at playing it cool. Just when I think I understand it all, I find I know nothing at all. I never known nobody like you. Now I know you're an enigma. Yeah, you keep me guessing, I'm confessing now, and baby, it's true. I never know nobody like you. Baby, you're an enigma. Baby, you're an enigma.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
LateNightSportsRadio.com. To thank last guest Patrick Morey of McCook Community College, assistant coach out there, for joining me. And now I have a former pitcher from McCook Community College who's now at Southwest Baptist University, D2 school in Missouri. Corey Borsch, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, Bob. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. You are, I'm friends with good friends with your older brother. I'm on his phone plan, so we're good there. As far as the last time I think we hung out, you and Travis lost to me and Matt in a game of Madden. Have you gotten over that?
I've been working on my game a lot. I've been working with Matt Shepard, and I think I'm ready for a rematch.
Yeah, Matt is unfortunately very, very good at that game. He's like the Bobby Fischer of Madden.
Yeah, I mean him and my older brother Brian have been playing since before I could even remember. So I'm just trying to fill in his shoes.
Are you surprised that neither one of them attempted or got a chance to go on the Madden bus?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose so. I mean, I think Matt's unstoppable on offense, and it's incredibly tough to score on Brian. I mean, it's kind of a shocker, but at the same time, I don't know how serious they really got into it.
Yeah.
As far as playing online. On
to your personal career in baseball. You're at Southwest Baptist University in Oliver, Missouri. How's the season? You're a redshirt senior. How is the season going so far?
We're off to a decent start. We're still really, really young. We're really early in the year. I mean, we got 40 games left. It's tough to tell how we'll finish up, but I'm optimistic. We got a lot of good guys. I mean, I haven't had this much fun on a baseball team ever in my college career, so it's a good group of guys to be around. I'm having a lot of fun.
What is, when you first came to Southwest from junior college, from McCook Community College, when you first got there, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make from a junior college to a 4-year?
I guess the biggest change for me was personality. I mean, I came from a junior college and I came down here, and I was kind of I felt like an outcast. I felt kind of out of place a little bit. And I really just kind of found my home with the baseball team. I mean, being surrounded by those great guys every day, it just turned me into a better person overall, I feel like, on and off the field.
Is it tough? Do you like it better, living in a smaller town for 9 months out of the year versus, there's so much, you have to be creative in these small towns with what you want to do, smaller towns.
Absolutely.
But in Omaha, by the time, the 3 months you are in Omaha in the off season, do you get tired of it and want to go back to the small town? How do you like it in comparison to Omaha?
It's kind of overwhelming when I get back to Omaha, actually. I mean, I'll go back over winter break, and my cousin Travis and I will be just overwhelmed with how much we can do there. I mean, I love visiting the Henry Dorley Zoo. I love going bowling out at Maplewood Lanes. I mean, it's a big change coming from a small town to back home for a couple months and then going back to a small town. I mean, like you said, we definitely have to be creative around here. I mean, I guess the extent of most of our fun nights would be going to play basketball at the intramural gym on our nights off. So,
what are the rules as far as you guys go for intramurals? Are there any rules as far as what you guys can do?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty strict. Absolutely nothing during season. I know a couple of guys on the team started up intramural sand volleyball in the fall, but as far as spring goes, I mean, it's a strict no.
You guys are in the MIAA with teams like Central Oklahoma, Missouri Western, Truman State, Fort Hays.
Right.
Is that conference? What are the rivalries like? Who is your main rival? What's the biggest rivalry in that conference?
Since I've been here, I know we always like to pair up with Central Missouri. It's always a fun outing. We have a catcher that transferred from Lindenwood after his first semester there, and since he got here, that was pretty colorful as well. So I mean, I wouldn't say there's any big rivalries like, I don't know, like Nebraska, Texas back in the day, but there's certainly competitive showings.
Is there anybody that you played against in high school that you continued kind of a little bit of a personal rivalry with in college?
Might sound kind of silly, but I always like to compare myself to my former teammate Kyle Kubat. He went on to pitch at Nebraska, and he did pretty well there. I think he signed a contract with the Royals here recently. I always like to follow him and, I don't know, try to keep up with him, I guess.
You were damn good at prep, Creighton Prep in Omaha, pitching, and then went on to McCook. Did you ever feel at any point when you were playing at prep that you were underappreciated for how good you actually were in high school?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember Kyle had signed as a junior to go to Nebraska, and I mean, I wasn't even getting college looks until late senior year. I mean, the first school I heard from was McCook, and I didn't hear from them until, July. So, I mean, I remember specifically an example would be like the state championship game. I remember the headline of the page was behind starter number 2, prep is number 1. So, I mean, I definitely felt like I was underprivileged, I guess. Or underappreciated.
You threw is this correct? You threw over 120 pitches in that state championship.
134, yeah.
134. What was your arm like after that? And did you was there even any thought of coming out of that game? Did you know your pitch count at any point during that game?
No, I tried not to ask. I mean, I had made it clear that I wanted to go the whole way for us. I wanted that game bad. I was definitely hanging afterwards and had to take a week and a half off almost until regionals. But I mean, I was hanging, and I looked at my coach and I told him I was going to go in for the ninth inning, and he goes, "I know you are. Get it done."
What's the feeling like being on the mound for that state title game? Getting those last outs.
It is incredible. It was almost too surreal. It just caught me off guard. I remember my catcher trying to come up and tackle me for the dog pile, and I almost felt like I was running away from him, trying to not get tackled. It was pretty funny looking back.
After high school, once you got to McCook, well, first, were you late getting to school because of your run with prep in regionals?
I was not late getting to school. I was late as far as getting on a throwing program. I remember my coach wanting me to take a week or two off before I started the throwing program at McCook. So, I mean, I wasn't late getting there, but as far as getting on the same page as the rest of the pitchers, I was definitely a week or two behind.
In your 2 years at McCook, what was the biggest difference from year one to year two for you?
I would say maturity all around. I mean, I feel like I grew a lot after my freshman year. I feel like I learned a lot. I have John Olson to thank for that. He's the manager there. I mean, he's a great guy. Gave me the opportunity. Gave me every opportunity in the world, really. I'm thankful for that. And I mean, I would say he's the reason I'm here now. Like I said, it was just the leadership was just much different my second year around.
In year two, when you're looking for another school, was it similar to high school where you got some late approaches? What were you still being kind of undervalued in your opinion when you were looking at four-year universities in your sophomore year?
To be honest, I didn't perform all that well my first year. Come the second year, I kind of turned it on towards the end of the year. So, I mean, I had reached out to some schools, and they had said back, that they would love to have me, and I had some scholarship offers. I don't know that I was necessarily underrated, I guess, but I still felt like I had a little chip on my shoulder coming from North Omaha. I really just wanted to get to college and graduate with a bachelor's.
When what was the thing that called you to Southwest Baptist? What was the thing that really caught your eye about
that? To be honest, it was the free school. I mean, I'm on a full ride down here. I'm very blessed. My assistant coach, Mike Mendenhall at McCook, had told me that they were looking for pitchers, and I eventually emailed Coach Martin, and we had talked about it. We had talked all summer, and he was just a really good guy, and I just really wanted to play for
him. Year one, what was your biggest fear in year one of playing baseball at Southwest?
Underperforming, I guess. I had come in with very high expectations, and I just didn't want to let Coach Martin down or any of the guys down that I was playing with. I know they were looking up to me, and coming in as a junior, I was one of the older guys on the staff, and I really just wanted to perform the way I knew I could.
You in your getting into the rhythm of playing at a D2 school, what was the biggest difference? Like, what was the thing that you could get away with at junior college? What was a pitch you could get away with in junior college that you couldn't get away with that you noticed in D2?
As far I would be willing to say that the MIAA is about as close to a Division I as you can get. I mean, everyone in this league can hit and swing it very well. I would say I can't sneak fastball by guys here anymore like I could in junior college. I feel like I need more velocity to really blow away hitters. I feel like they're just really good at timing up fastballs, and I couldn't really sneak them by anymore.
Looking in your coming into this year, your senior year, what was what's the thing that was driving you most this fall and in the off season? What was the thing that was driving you most going into your senior year?
Well, last year when I had come in, it was my senior year, and I was coming into the year with a torn labrum, and I knew I was, and I tried to play through it, and it didn't work out. And I'm blessed enough to have a second chance at a senior year, and I guess the biggest thing for me was just coming back and helping my teammates get a season they deserve. The last year didn't end up the way we wanted it to, and there's a great group of guys here, and I just really wanted to come back and pitch the way I know I'm capable of after surgery.
How long has it taken you since your surgery to get your confidence back? And what were some thoughts right after the surgery that you had?
To be honest, surgery was March 20th. I remember thinking March 21st, like if I was ever going to be able to pick up a baseball again. I mean, labrum is a serious surgery, and not a lot of guys can come back from that. And it took me a couple weeks of moping around and feeling sorry for myself, and then I finally just said enough is enough and started going to rehab. And I guess I really did start getting my confidence back, to be honest, until just about a week ago at an inter squad. I pitched really well and got my first start of the year this weekend.
A couple more questions before I let you go. Looking at number one, who has the best facial hair in the Borsch family?
Oh, jeez. I guess I could go with Brian. Brian's just a hairy man. I try to keep up with him. I can't do it.
I feel like he's had a beard ever since he was born. Like that's my theory. Never.
I remember him getting shaving violations in the 8th grade at McMillan because he wasn't clean shaven. I remember freshman year around college, he'd get in trouble.
Yeah, he's just he's got that like kind of Hungarian look to him.
He really does.
As far as you go, is the food better at Southwest than it was at McCook? Is it about the same? What's the cafeteria like?
It's about the same quality as McCook. I guess here I have a little bit more options, but I would say it's about the same quality as McCook.
How tough is it to, obviously it's buffet style every day in the cafeteria, but for you, what's the toughest part about being an athlete and eating cafeteria food every day for every meal to stay in shape and to not, be tempted by, I don't know, like a nachos or something horrible on the menu that day?
Well, the biggest challenge is a guy like me, I'm always trying to put on a little bit more weight, and sometimes the cafeteria doesn't really offer what you need as far as protein goes. And I mean, you'll have pizza in the cafe every day, but I mean, pizza every day isn't going to cut it. You need a little bit more options than that as far as maintaining weight and gaining weight, eating healthy.
What is the thing to do in Bolivar, Missouri? Like, what's the fun thing to do outside of school?
Oh, geez. I guess the bowling alley is one of the funnest places to be come Friday night. There's a lot of high schoolers around, but there's also college night. So that's good. And then The nightlife in Springfield's pretty nice as well.
Well, Corey, before I let you get out of here, do you want to tell everybody where we can find you on Twitter? The next game you're going to be pitching, you just threw against Central Oklahoma. You threw against Truman State earlier. You're 1-1 right now. When's your next appearance going to be?
My next start is going to be this weekend. We're hosting Missouri Western. It's still in the talks when I'm going to pitch, but it's either going to be Thursday or Saturday for sure. So stay tuned. Follow me at Borge_heavy.
All righty, awesome, Corey. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight. It was a lot of fun talking to you, finally having you on. And hopefully I can have you on before senior night for you.
Yeah, I'd love to.
All righty, well, that'll do it for this edition of the Bob Sullivan Show. I'd like to thank Corey Borge and Pat Morey for being on tonight, and I'll see you next week on the Bob Sullivan Show.